Kingdom Hearts 2 Beginner Mode 100% Speedrun, Segment 1, Part 3. Go watch the other two if you haven't. This is Isaac, bringing you some commentary on this, of course. And I just did the last of the 7 wonders, so now the shit really begins to hit the fan. One thing that consistently messed up my other attempts at this segment were the assassins. The nobody that goes underground. But actually, all 3 of the assassins that you have to kill in Twilight Town went really, really well in this one. You can see the first one's just about to come up here. These dusks go down to, the typical ground combo reversal thing. Have to say, dusks are one of my favorite enemies in the whole game. Not really sure why that is, but I like them a lot more than shadows, as far as, the basic henchmen of the factions. I mean, there are a few Heartless that I like more than them, and all the nobodies are pretty cool. There are a few that, I like dancers and gamblers and sorcerers, and samurais are okay. I don't like fighting any of them. They're all difficult to kill, but I like their design. From a character standpoint, I think the nobodies were much more well thought out than the Heartless. The Heartless are just kind of filling a gameplay void. Meanwhile, the nobodies are actually filling a, contextual story gap. And this goes through, this part of the segment goes through when you leave on the magic train as Sora. I don't really know how to explain the magic train. I'm sure you know that all of you know what I'm talking about. It's right before you go to Yin Sid's tower. Did you ever know that Yin Sid's name backward is Disney? I totally did not know that until just recently. Tricky, tricky Disney. Always keeping us on our toes. Except for the fact that pretty much every Disney movie has the exact same plot. Not quite all of them, but most of them. Usually the mother is already dead. And usually the father's in some sort of trouble. But not always. And here I go to the White Room, and then it's time to go down into the underbelly of the mansion and get into the actual seriously bad stuff. Honestly, I think that Roxas's first clue that he was living in an imaginary world was that there was, an old abandoned mansion which was sitting on a hill through a dark forest looking down over his town, and Cypher's little gang of hoodlums had never gone there. I mean, come on. Abandoned mansions, every little bit merry band of hoodlums always goes to abandoned mansions, and Cypher's little gang doesn't, so clearly something's up. But Roxas is a little on the slow side. He doesn't catch on even when he has, repeated digital dreams of Sora and starts seeing stuff appear and freeze in mid-air and all sorts of weird stuff happening. But now it's time to go into the 4 Dusk 2 Assassin battle, which I actually find pretty easy. You can usually catch one of the assassins off guard as soon as it spawns, as long as you're willing to let the last Dusk live for a little while, which I don't really mind. Dusks are not terribly strong offensively. Nice dodge there, but then I get hit back-to-back, so it doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, the first assassin spawns in just a second here, and I quickly take him out. And then the second one, pretty much purely by luck, just happens to be right where I kill the first one, and I combo it out of the ground and then take it down. And, in another startling coincidence, the Dusk just happens to show up right where I am. I really had remarkable luck in this segment. Very little of what makes this segment so good is my play quality. And here's Axel 2, which is a battle that is perpetually frustrated speedrunners. I use a slightly different tactic on him than was used in Spike Vegeta's run, mostly because I just totally messed up this beginning part. He keeps comboing me out of my ground combos, and it's like I'm trying to use Slide Dash or something. Anyway, I managed to knock him into the air, and I never use Overtaker or Clear Light, because Burst Edge does a lot of damage, so I would much rather do Burst Edge. Like you can see already, air combo him after the Burst Edge, and then knock him back into the air, air combo him again, if you can, and then this Burst Edge kills him. And it really is that easy. It gives you a cool froze mid finishing frame, whatever you want to call it, game-winning kill cam, you know what I mean. And I think it's faster than using Overtaker or Clear Light. It's also somewhat easier to pull off. But I think that you do have to have hit him with a few sort of oddball hits that weren't part of the regular combo stream. Like those, I hit him like 2 or 3 times before I got that first ground combo off. I think you need to. I haven't really studied this battle to the depth that I probably should have, but I don't think it can be done much faster than that. And now, finally, Sora is awakened from his little egg cocoon pod. And personally, I don't think that Sora was at all confused enough by this situation. Although I understand why they wrote the story that way. It would be no fun to play, 3 hours of Roxas being confused, and then I have to play another few hours of Sora being confused. But Sora's just like, yeah, okay, I just woke up somewhere that I have no idea where I am, let's go get a sandwich. He doesn't even, take a step back and say, whoa, why on earth am I here? Why is Jimny's journal blank except for the words, thank Namine? Namine is an interesting character, too. I actually quite like Namine. Not quite as much as Kairi. Kairi's definitely going to pull ahead, mostly due to that little schoolgirl uniform. Difficult word for me to pronounce, apparently. Schoolgirl? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of tired. This is a pretty long commentary, and I'm sure that, as you've noticed, there's not really much to talk about. But right here, I'm about... Well, if we give it a few seconds, I'll be exactly... About here, I'm exactly 28 minutes into the speedrun. And that's by far the fastest that I've ever gotten to this little battle. Usually I get here 28:30, 28:40, somewhere in that range. So this battle was essentially sort of like my victory lap. I realized that, there's no chance that I do badly enough here that this wouldn't be the segment. So I just let loose on these Dusks, and I have no idea why 3 of them attacked me here in this corner. It doesn't usually happen. But what I typically try and do in this battle is I try and keep the Dusks towards the center of the area, and I try to bring the creepers over towards the wall. Now I can't do that here where they're, mixed in, so I try and stay near the middle so I can get the Dusks next time. But I like to have the creepers up next to this wall where I am there, because I find that if you're not, if you're in the middle of the area, if you're completely surrounded by empty space, it gives them much more area to use their vanish and then appear as a sword attack, which is awful because it air juggles you, and there's no way to get out of it. So I try to stay as close to the wall as I can. I mean, obviously, my main concern is just killing them quickly, but if I can choose between an enemy by the wall and enemies that not, I go after the one by the wall, because I find that I get less of this little sword attacking nonsense if I stay by the wall. Like there, you see that guy hit down behind me because I moved too far away from the wall, but if I'd been right up next to the wall, then he wouldn't have been able to. So that's just my views on this battle. It actually might be on a timer. I've never actually worked it out. It kind of feels like a timer battle, but I'm always at roughly the same point when it ends, so I don't really bother too much with a in-depth plan every attack strategy. And then all of a sudden it's over, and I skip through getting that little blue crystal orb and a sack full of money, and run up and save as quickly as I can. Freaking out at this point, of course. I mean, all you speedrunners out there know the sort of freak out that I'm talking about. And just watch the bottom corner where it says, 29 minutes. You can see I save, and then 30. I don't think you can get much closer than that. Segment 2 should be out sometime soon, and guess I'll see you guys then. Bye.